Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you may be. And I welcome everyone for another discussion on various aspects of stuttering and you know um, what potentially causes it, what we can do to alleviate and improve things. Now, today I have a very special guest, Aladin Ali. Um, who I would like to introduce. Aladdin is a mentor and holistic health practitioner. She's also a radio and TV presenter. She's been published in the Spirit and Soul magazine, and she's the author of the book Wind Beneath Your Wings. Aladdin, a very warm welcome. Um, this is, as always, this discussion is not pre-planned. It's going to be very natural, organic, and we'll just see where it goes. Um, First of all, could you just tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, Hassan, for inviting me to your podcast. And it's amazing to be part of this. Well, a bit about me. As you briefly mentioned, my interest has been in health for a very long time. It's for myself, really. It's for myself. I was looking into how do I improve my health and well-being? How can I become the best version of myself? So, last 20-25 years, I've just been more than that, actually 30 years. I've been just been focusing on my how to learn to tap into my power. And through that journey, I came across meditation. I learned meditation for myself and realized that it's kind of opened up so many possibilities and the power that I had within myself. I didn't realize. And then it kind of led me to helping others through setting up a healing academy, which was that like a healing center, and doing one-to-one sessions for 3 years. I did that, and in all the other stuff, I was running a business. I'm a very passionate about business, and I've actually done so many businesses in different areas. So I'm not just into health. I am also very curious about other things outside the health, because I believe that you really need to expand your mind. You could have a niche, but you could also need to get out and learn so many other things. I've been in property, I've done catering, I've done jewelry, skincare brand that I've created, all the other things, and also self-published a book. But also I've done so many other things I cannot go through the list. And when somebody does ask me what I did, I'm like, what do I pick? Because it's quite a long list. Because you don't realize over the years that you do quite a lot, and until you sit down and reflect, there's a lot of stuff. And all those years I've got quite a lot of knowledge, but the core thing I found that everything I did in life is always helping people in some way. No, either through a service or through my advice or through my shows or through my products. It was the core thing in my mind. How do I help people through emotional, mental, physical health? What can I do? What kind of things can I bring out? And that is the way I look at life at the moment as well. Still the same. So yeah, that's what I do. I had my Aladdin show. I still have that. It's on YouTube, and I also do presenting. I've also been called in to do present awards and stuff like that in some of the events, charity. I'm also I love photography, so I do a bit of photography as well.
It's very useful to hear about all your experiences and uh, just to tell you a bit about the whole stuttering thing. I think it's best if I just talk about myself, because if I try and make it too general, I can't speak for all
Yes.
stutterers. Apparently, I think 1%, I could be wrong, 5%, 1% of the population has stutter. Now, um, I'm 43 years old now, and I've tried behavior therapies all my life, trying to basically practice talking, relearning how to talk, and various sounds, especially practicing sounds that I have difficulty with. However, I felt I was fluent when I was on my own. But whenever I was in a situation where I feel the pressure or any tension, you know, the my speech was really hemmed up and blocked. I couldn't make sounds, or I felt really anxious and self-conscious. So lately, over the past year and a half, I think, um, so mute this first. Yeah. So over the past year and a half, I've been focusing on my internal world, how I perceive things, and feeling safe. I'm trying to figure out why I'm relaxed and fluent when I'm talking to um for example, talk to my cats. I'm totally fluent. But when I talk to a person, some level of tension is added. And I think no amount of, these repetitive exercises, or when I'm reading word lists, it kind of falls apart. And this is why I thought of yourself. You practice meditation, and you do a lot of internal healing work, breath work. And recently I've found that you do some kind of spinal flow work as well. And in your view, um, how how can this internal work on your mindset, on your spirit, etc., how can that translate into alleviating stuttering and helping people express themselves better?
Well, Hassan, I'm going to, as you've just known me for quite a while, and I'm a person who I keep it simple, and I don't use long words to confuse people and things like that. And when people do come to me, I align with um, what they really need, because it's through communication, but also through energetically. I'm going to say this is that everybody has a stutter in some form, and not described as a stutter, but they get anxious, and I'm one of them. I was one of them. And people say to me, "Oh, you feel confident and you talk." I was never like that. If you met me when I was a teenager, in my early 20s, I would get anxious and the words wouldn't come out right. I went through a phase. Now, it was difficult for me, and when I stood on stage, my whole tummy went, everything went. And somebody say, "Oh, that's normal for if you get not." No, this was different for me, and it's no way I ever thought I would overcome that. And regarding the spirituality side of it, is that I feel that it's a big part. I believe we're an energetic being. We're not physical, so we're energy. We're radiating energy. And reason I feel that people who have challenges, and everybody has challenges, doesn't matter what it is, and anxiety and various other things, is because we have been brought up, we've been taught in a certain way. We go to school and we think this is right and this is wrong, and we're judged because you do all these exams and you have to be the best. And if you're not the best, there's something wrong with you. So from the early stages, we've been said, this is how you should be. And when we don't fit into that, then we have anxiety and we feel judgmental. It's a funny thing you said about the cats. The reason you talk to the cats is because they don't have any judgment on you. They're pure love. They give you pure love, and you feel the love, and that's why you flow. And you also flow, I feel, and I've known you, is when you're with somebody and you're very comfortable, that's when the flow happens. Because the person has no judgment, they've got a different mindset. They don't see you as there's something wrong, but they see you as a beautiful human being, and that's when the everything flows. And I'm gonna say I was in the same place. I would feel uncomfortable, but if I'm around people, I would flow easy. I have improved myself over the years, and meditation is a fantastic way. This different kind of meditation, but I would always say to people is you have to go with what you align with. Not every meditation or every person you come across is the right energy fit for you. You know, when we watch something and we think we need to do this because it has helped somebody else, it doesn't mean it will help you, because you might think you're not in their energy. You're not that person who was healed or overcome the stutter. You may need something wee bit different. So I look at everybody as totally different. Yeah, and everything doesn't work for everybody. So, and also everybody doesn't fit with everybody else. You know, you might come across somebody and go to a counselor or whatever, and they follow a procedure and then think it doesn't really work. This is not how I am. This is not how I think, but they may explain it. This is how it works. And you may not resonate, but you might come across somebody who else doesn't have this plan, but just listens to you, and then you resonate, and that's when people start healing. Stutter itself, I believe, I mean, this is my belief, that's something I believe. It does may not resonate with everybody else, or there's some professionals out there who you know. We, as I said, we are energetic being, and I think we like an electricity that we give out, you know, and air. And funny enough, somebody mentioned about recently about oxygen, breathing in oxygen, but are we really breathing in oxygen, or are we breathing in energy? You know, that's like something else to talk about, but that's different. But if we are energetic beings, if we believe that, then everything about our body is electricity, and emotions plays a big part in our lives, because when you're growing up and if you're going through a trauma or challenges, or you know, that will block your energy path. You know, it will block it, and it's about it's about going back and unblocking it. It's not all about going back to your past and trying to describe what went wrong. You know, it's just about being aware there was something happening in that area, and you no longer want it in your life. And this is how I say to people, I know a lot of people want to go back and describe the, you know, what happened to them. I don't go with my, I've never done that with my clients, because then you energetically pulling them back into that point. You may want to hear briefly and then say, okay, stop it now. You don't want this energy. And they'll say, no, I don't want it. Now it's time to release it. And through breathing and through affirmations and various other techniques, things can be released. And you also mentioned about spinal flow. Now, I don't do spinal flow, but I have getting sessions recently, and absolutely amazing. Spinal flow is about this, they connect to the spine. The therapist basically starts moving the energy up the spine, and spine is connected to nerves, and every nerve is connected to your organs, right? And all those organs hold emotions, and majority of people hold trauma, everything at the bottom, you know, bottom of the back, around the tummy, and that's where everything sticks. And having a spinal flow movement, and it's a gentle, you know, fully clothed. The therapist will put the hands, practitioner, don't want to go as a therapist, a practitioner will put her hand on the back, and she will analyze everything before she does that. She will ask about your past and all that, but she won't discuss it. She just wants to know what may have happened, and then she will work on the spine, just a gentle. And do you know, when I went for it, and I'm actually going for another session on Wednesday, I can't believe it how something so gentle can shift your energy of your spine. And I found personally it started unblocking. I knew I had something back of my spine and the back of my neck, but I couldn't unblock it, even with through meditation, through breathing. I goes, no, I need something more. And by going to that, and she actually recognized that area as well. I didn't tell her anything, and she recognized it. And since I've been doing the sessions, do you know what? My communications is much better. I feel I used to get at least block in my throat area when I'm trying to speak. I feel the communication from my heart, my throat, and my head was flowing. And I do feel that is part of a stutter, that if there's a block between the head area and the middle of the back. And that's where some of a lot of belief system, our passion goes down, and we believe about ourselves, judgmental stuff sits in those areas. And those kind of therapies are coming out, and I would recommend people to try it. Honestly, try those therapies, especially with spinal fluid. It's quite new in the UK, but it's been really big in Australia and everything. And I'm the person who tries everything, because if you don't try it, you don't know. So spinal flow really helps. And I understand the process of spinal flow, because it is like moving kind of electricity up your spine and releasing the blockages. And sometimes it may take a few sessions, depends on the emotional trauma that a person has gone through. I'll give you an example. I went last week with a friend. She's never had it. And she's got severe back pain. She's been going through a lot of trauma in her life. She's got anxiety. She couldn't get out of bed. And she went with me. She had a session done, half an hour, and you could see her coming out of the room, and she was happy. And the next day she said to me, my back pain is gone, you know, and she goes, I feel just happy and more clarity. And she started to take action in her life to do things. And it's amazing how small thing like that could shift the energy. So I believe, as I said, body is an energy. If you look at yourself as an energy, and if there's a blockage in the energy field, that's where you work. And when I don't when some I don't go to a doctor, so I haven't been to a doctor for many years. Well, first thing I look at is my energy field. If I'm ill, I'm saying, where is it blocked? And that's where I work on. And when I find that's when I work on that area through different techniques and things like that, I go for a massage regularly, which helps. I go for a Reiki share, which is an energy shift that happens through your body. All the things that I find makes me well, keeps me well and healthy. But with a stutter, I personally feel this emotion attached to it. And people who have stuttered, if they look back, they will find something has happened in their life when that started, when there's a child or something. But the key thing is removing or unblocking that energy field, or allowing it to flow. So, and also give an example, it's not just a stutter. I'll give you an example of somebody I spoke to last week. And he was recommended by another friend, who said, oh, you need to speak to Aladin on the one, he's in London. And he said, can you help me? I've got a problem with asthma. I've got a problem with breathing issues. And I don't know why. He's only 50 years old. And the first thing that came to me, I said, can I ask you what happened what was the time when it started? He goes, oh, about 20 years ago. Because can you tell me if anything happened at that time when that started? And he said, my parents passed away, and that was a traumatic time. And that's when everything started for him. And I said, I could give you nutrition and I could give you all that, but it's all about releasing that part, of energy, of emotions, is the key to healing your asthma. And he related easily to it. He goes, I can't believe it. You just hit the nail. I hope I was gone quite big from your question. You kind of went forward from that.
That is really interesting. Speaking to you just now, listening to you, I actually feel more energetic. It's very interesting. I feel more energetic. I want to try things, do things. And the other interesting thing is although we are discussing stuttering, we're not discussing the stutter, because the stutter is not the problem. If I'm making sense,
Yes.
so I think I'm on the right track now. And when you mention energies, and there is evidence to show that everyone has an energy field and everything is actually energy anyway. And the whole treatment of stuttering, I feel, is focused on trying to trying to improve yourself or change who you are. And if you can change how you talk, if you can change how you are, then your stutter will go away. But as you can see from the name of my channel, um, I feel that I can't. Well, once again, I need to add in a caveat. I can't talk for all stutterers, but for me, I feel I need to I need to um embrace the stutter, rather than having it as a separate thing, which I want to get rid of. I want to soothe that part of me because it still is that part of me. Does that make any sense, or am I just going off on it?
No, absolutely. I totally agree. I think, we put on labels in a lot of things. Labels. And I don't like labels, If people say, I've got this and I've got that, and I'm like, why are you saying you've got that? But I have, but that's because somebody else told you you've got it. You are a unique being, an individual, and you are embracing something that has come into your life, has kind of produced itself in your body to teach you something about yourself. Now, you are doing this podcast because I'm not saying you have to look at, people might say, well, it's negative. I am a very positive person, and I'm going to say to you, because of this, what you have, what you're embracing, that you're doing this podcast, and there's so many people who are going to are listening in, who will, and all those amazing guests that you're bringing in will learn that, we're not alone, but why should we kind of be say there's something wrong with us, so you want to, the way I would look at it, if I had this, if I was going, which I did one point, I thought it the wrong way around. I thought, what, it's taught me so many things, it gave me so much experience with your um um beautiful person you are, and and that you have to look at the other beautiful things that you have around you, the person who you are, and you obviously want to improve your communication, and you just have to communicate with your body, and the emotional side of it is, I've seen you grow for the last few years, and we used, people like yourself, maybe you stop think about other people, what other people thought of you, but I think you're more in your energy and in yourself, saying, I really don't care. As soon as you do more of that, more of this work, and say to your body, you know what, I don't need this. I'm very comfortable with who I am. Eventually, this is when you work with your own emotion. That's when you start releasing it. All those things that you were told when you're young and judgmental, when you become into your power, you realize nothing or nobody else really doesn't matter. It's more of who you are within everything that you've got in within yourself. All the power is within yourself. And when you're 100% in that zone, then your voice opens up. Your heart, your throat, and your third eye is linked up, It's a lot of having clear connection to your heart, throat, and third eye. Third eye is your intuition, knowing, trusting. Trust is a big thing. We have to trust ourselves, not trust others, trust our inner guidance, and then when you trust and you speak from your heart, your communication has is a pathway that also opens up, and that's when you communicate clearly, it opens. And I would suggest that spinal flow is a fantastic way to get something, just clear the pathway between those points.
Well, I just want to say that we've got another attendee.
Sure.
His name is Mukesh. And I would ask if Mukesh wants to say hello to yourself and wants to ask any question. Do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mustafa and Aladin Ali.
Thank you.
I introduce myself. Actually, I am from India, but I am working in Qatar and Qatar Shell GTL. Before I am stuttering, and I overcome my stuttering when I reach 50 years. So after 50 years, I overcome. And now I can say you cannot detect stuttering sometimes if I am anxious, and sometimes I have a problem during I have less sleep, and I have too much work in my office. Then that time maybe I am excited, or I am not focused on my word or something. So that's my question, Aladin Ali, to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why it happen if I am less sleeping and during I have too much work pressure? That time, if I talking to my boss or anybody colleagues, sometimes blockages are coming.
Well, what possibly happens is because you're putting a pressure because you're not sleeping and you're overworking and various things. It's basically what's happening with your physical energy. When people are relaxed, they flow easy, but you're putting too much pressure in your mental state and your body to communicate. Because if you're not sleeping, your body's not getting rest, your mind is overworking and is trying to figure out words. Everybody, it's not just you, everybody is normal people. When they're stressed and they don't sleep, they don't function properly mentally anyway. They can't do work properly, they're confused, they don't have clarity. So obviously that is triggered for you, but other people get triggers of level of stress. So it's a same process, but what you need to do is, say for example, if you haven't had enough sleep, I don't know what you do, there's a process you could do. You get up, you say, okay, I haven't had enough sleep. Before you go to work, take 10 minutes or something out of your day before you go to the goes, close your eyes and just breathe and focus on your heart, and just breathe in and relax your body, and tell your body, I am well, I am fine, today is going to be a good day for me. Everything is going to flow. So you're telling your body and your mind everything is going to be fine. You remember, people don't understand, body listens to everything you think and you feel. Your mind listens to everything. So if you're going out of bed thinking, oh my God, I'm tired, I need to work so much, you've already putting a strain in both of your mind and body. You told your body. So best process to do if you can't sleep and you're overworking, so do it at night. I would say, I would mention about meditation. When you come back from work, you meditate before you go to bed, 10-15 minutes. I don't know how, if you're from India, there's a lot of meditations that you really, I would recommend meditation before you go to bed and after you get out of bed, in the morning, then go to work. What happens is then the body and the mind listens and gives you the time to relax. And when you get that pressure, it's able to deal with it, so you don't have any stuttering coming through. So that is important. I don't know if you do that, if that's the do you do that? What kind of things do you do to help?
Yeah, I am actually I'm every day before sleeping, I am doing meditation, and I increase my spirituality more after I realize this is because of mind problem and subconscious mind. I read a lot of books, even though Lee Lovett book also, and another book is Joseph Murphy, The Power of Subconscious Mind. And I realize my thought level is everything is my thought level.
Yes.
So that's why I doing more spiritual and more meditating before sleeping. And what happened? I have a work cycle. So one of the work cycle is very early. So my body cycle is changing because
Yes.
of the sleep habit of my working cycle of hours of early morning. So sometime right now I don't have any work pressure. I have very good sleep. So my thought level is intensity of my thought is almost suppressed or not suppressed. I can say lower frequency.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's actually I'm doing meditation as you are asking me, and I have a very good affirmation of my own. I written down in papers before sleeping. I'm
Mhm.
keeping in my bed, and before sleeping, I'm also reading. Wake up first, I pray God, then immediately I start my affirmation,
Mhm.
and I realize this is the mind. I have to train my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing, and I am also teaching many student in India also, and uh,
It's really good. I mean, it is the mind, but also, as I said, mind, motions, everything is to do with. I mean, we have a brain and a mind, but everything is a frequency. You know, everything is a frequency, and we absorb the frequency and we give out frequency. And so, if you look at it like that energetically, so you've been working on the spirit. I think spirituality is the key to fix it, to not fixing, but managing other things in life. If you have the core and know that you are the power, you are the control things, you could manage things in different ways, and which you have been working on. And it's great that you're doing meditation and affirmations. But when you're actually stress levels, you have to do more meditation, even in between your work. If you have 10-15 minutes lunch break, because that means your stress, even if you're doing morning at night, then if the stress level is high, you have to take that time out and do it in between. But it's also, as you so it depends on how long you've done it. As you may know, that the more you do it, the more it gets better. You improve as time goes on.
yeah, thank you very much, Aladin Ali, because actually you are very good. Because during my work pressure, I forget everything. I have to take a break. You are correct, and I will follow that one actually. In between some intervals, that's a good idea you give me. 1 hour, 2 hours, I will make some smart break and go to
Yes,
telephone booth like I am here in telephone booth. So like
yes,
that, do some 5 minutes or something like
yes.
training or affirmation or meditation. That's a good idea. It is good
No.
help. Yeah.
And what I found is when I went to one of the meditation things, and that's a good practice. Some people did. Is a retreat I went to, and they every 1 hour when the clock banged, it made a noise in the hall, and everybody stopped and you meditated for 1 minute. No matter what you're doing, left everything 1 minute, and then you go back to normal. And they did this every hour for 1 minute when the bell rang at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And this was a perfect practice for everybody to get into the zone for 1 minute. Even the timer was on. So I was in that and I thought, how amazing is that? It's a practice that we all could do at home for 1 minute. You know, if you're in a computer, it's 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, it goes at every hour. You could stop for a few minutes. Obviously, if you're in a meeting, you can't do it, but if you know doing other things, you can stop. It's like, excuse me, I'm going to the bathroom for 1 minute. Come back. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely amazing. But as you said, I feel that if you take that break, as you said, take that time, you will find it will improve.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Hassan.
Welcome.
I just like that about the meditation, I think a great source of pain and emotional pain for stutterers is not the stutter itself, but it's the mental gymnastics that we perform. What is my listener thinking of me? You know, I feel like I am a child again, and you start to um criticize yourself. You start to imagine others criticize. That makes it worse. So I think this whole meditation thing, taking breaks and just being present, being mindful, can help stop all that. So all that's left is the pure bare stutter without any judgment, without any seeking approval from others, and just a sense of being. I just what I want to share was on this Zoom meeting last week, and the host of the meeting, etc., they were talking so fast, and they were putting people under pressure to talk fast, and I just thought that no, I'm not getting involved. I'm not going to participate in this game. I'm going to talk at my own pace, and I felt that quite empowering. It was really good. So yeah, that's my story, or this is my contribution to the whole meditation thing. So yes, if you have any thoughts on that, or if you could share something.
Yeah, I just think this is absolutely right. It is all about how we, self-talk within ourselves, thinking what people are perceiving about us, because or what it's a judgmental thing. It's our own inner voice. We make up. It's not even true, and that kind of stops us. And I'm glad that you decided that you're not going to follow what everybody's going was going fast, and you were going to go on your own pace of speaking. So this is when you realize that you don't need to fit in. It's not people want to fit into everybody else, and I don't fit into anything or anybody by now. I kind of speak to why I speak from my heart. It doesn't matter if it hurts people. They might take it negatively, but it's actually everything I do with good intentions. But I think sometimes truth can be hurtful if they look at it wrong. But I think what you're saying is that when you become in your power and you say, you know what, I'm just going in my own pace, and this is what I'm going, and that's really good to see. And I think more people need to do that. And judgmental thing is a big thing. We all go through it, not just people with stutter, it's people, everybody. We all are human beings, and we feel that we need to be somehow the same as everybody else, and everybody's doing better than us. Do you know what? Grass is never greener. I found that out. Even if people show you in social media, they are. But it's amazing how everybody's got their own issues in life. But what we need to do is work on our own stuff and how to improve our own selves. And then, when we radiate positivity and when we start helping, people feel it, when people feel other person and they know it's positivity, they're coming from the heart. There are people, I'm talking from my heart, and I'm talking from a place of, no, I said when I started, I'm not going to use long words and all that, because I'm not going to want to sound professional. I want to say, oh, I've got this and that. I'm just saying what I know with my own experience, and people that I have, guided in that way, or mentored, as they benefited it in many ways. But I think what you're doing, Hassan, is absolutely amazing of your journey. I have seen a huge change in your own kind of self-development, and and I could see a shift in your energy field as well. Huge shift already. And I always, as you know, Hassan, when I look at people, it's not the person. I look at the energy first, and when I see the energies, oh wow, radiating, glowing before, when I seen the first time, I could see a change, And then you look at the physical person. That's how I look at somebody. And it's actually your energy tells you the truth of a person, how they are really. But absolutely amazing with the journey you're on, Hassan. I could see a huge change, and it's great that you're doing this amazing podcast as well, and a lot of people are, you're assisting.
I actually felt that there was a lot of confusion out there, and wrong thinking in my view. I was on this stuttering Facebook page this morning, just having a scroll, and someone asked the question, do people care if you stutter? And I thought, this is the wrong question to ask. I just felt that, you know, the comments to this question was, yeah, even if people say they don't, they still care. I mean, talk about putting pressure on a person.
Yes.
If you're talking to someone, if you feel a speech block coming, you've also got to remember, oh, they care about your stuttering, or they care if you don't stutter or not. Or basically, you're saying that you will be you will be judged if you stutter. And and this is what I was told as a child, that you know, not only I was told by the elders in my family. I lived in an extended family with uncles, aunts, grandparents, so I had a lot of people to please. I had a lot of people whose approval I needed, and I was always rushed, you know, because of my stutter, etc. You know, I was trying to get words out, and then when I couldn't get the word out, you know, the only thing I was left with was showing them how hard I'm trying to get the word out. And you know, the harder I tried, it wasn't a pretty sight. It was quite you know, my face was red. There were there was a vein in my neck, in my forehead, etc. It's the tension of getting the word out. And what I'm trying to do now with them, and it's a challenge actually, because you, as you've said yourself, something happened in childhood which caused trauma, and these childhood conditionings are not easy to shake off. And when I'm speaking to an adult, I'm an adult, and when I feel a block, I feel myself reverting to childhood, and it's a struggle trying to remember I'm not a child now. I don't have to approve. I don't have to seek this person's approval. You know, I can take my time. And I'll add, and honestly, it's a serious challenge, which and I mean, would you have any advice on that aspect?
Okay. So in that sense, I mean, you're usually, I mean, you've gone back to your childhood automatically. So I would say that if you were going back to that place, is to recognize it, because when you're actually fighting it with our own bodies, as you said, is our everything, our blood goes up and everything else, the organs and stress, and that's why the face and everything goes red, and you know, so we're actually you're kind of going against the grain kind of thing. It's all about relaxing. But when you're actually in that situation and going back to the childhood situation, and you're just being aware, okay, this is where I am, and this is my mind's gone to that place. Now, the thing is, you it's about going, as I said, things like spinal flow and all these things that will help you to go back to that point, but without deeply explaining the situation. When you have awareness and realize that you do not want this in your life, you do not want this in your body, you do not want in this energy, you will also find things which you are doing to release it. So when you're in that situation, at that point, you can't really do anything because you're there, right? And you just have to bring yourself back mentally, saying, as you said, this is not who I am. I am a new person. So I'm bringing my energy back to this point mentally. Okay. And just working on it. But to overcome those feelings and situations again is all about, I know that you're doing few things already, which is also helping on that journey to release those points in the life. But I would just say to you is to keep doing those things that you're doing at the moment. Some of the things, it's not going to be overnight, you know, overnight, but you will eventually be at one point that nothing fades you, nothing bothers you, and there won't be, you may still have still thinking about what other people are thinking. That's why you're going to that place. If you were really in that zone, if you 100% you wouldn't be going to the feeling of being in that childhood place, you know. So it is a work in progress. It's a work in progress. But I would just say to you is that if you feel that you're in that space, I think is that sometimes it's good to take time out for a few minutes, go out, get a breath, come back in, and come back to the meeting or something like that. But generally, I don't know if that's the answer the question you were asking or the answer we're kind of looking for. But I just, to any advice to everybody, it takes time. If you're an adult and then all the stuff that you need to work through because it happened in the childhood, and this is why it's so important if a child has a stutter, is to work on the emotional state right away and energetically, because they don't need to wait till they're an adult to sort it out. So obviously, longer you know, older you are, it takes a bit of work. But if the younger you are, you know, if you could catch it and you could help somebody at the early stage, then obviously they would overcome it quite quickly, you know.
I think from my experience with children, I would suggest the best thing would be not to punish stuttering, and also conversely not to reward fluency. Otherwise they'll be chasing fluency. Then they'll think, if I'm fluent, I'm worthy of being loved. But if I stutter, then you know, then I'm not worthy of being loved. So it makes love kind of conditional. You know, something which I sometimes do is, and not necessarily when I feel bad, but if I'm just feeling normal, I would just kind of talk to my inner child, and just kind of, you know, put my hand on the on its shoulder and say, you know, just reassure him that I'm here. I'll make sure he's safe, and you don't need to worry that I'll I will look after you. And so I do some kind of reassuring self-talk. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really good. You do that, but you know how sometimes as a child you hold on emotions, and you know, especially men, they don't have. Women love to cry a lot, and that's when you start really women and men, they seem to hold on to, you know, a lot of emotions. And sometimes, and if you're in your own space, and if you feel emotions coming up, even if you're talking to your inner child and saying that you are loved, and one point, I'm going to be an example of myself. I don't know what happened to me. Something came over me, and I started crying, and I heard a voice saying, "You are loved," and I just put my hands around myself like that, and I said, I am loved. I am loved," and I'm just going to give myself a pat. But I was actually very, you know, I was very emotional, and that was a really good release. That I thought can't believe how it came out. If from nowhere, and what yourself is all about that release. But even looking at a mirror, and I think I said that to you. I think I mentioned about doing that exercise, looking into your eyes, into the pupils of your eyes, and saying to yourself, you know, loving yourself. You know, you know, you are beautiful. You are, you know, I am love. You are love. So when you look at the mirror, you say, I am love. You are love. I love you. I love me. And when you do that in the mirror, looking deeply into your eyes, it is very strong. And how many people some of my clients used to say, I couldn't do that because they cannot look within themselves. They cannot look straight into their eyes and tell themselves they love, you know, themselves. There's a Ho'oponopono mantra. I think I mentioned that with you. It's been in Hawaii. It's, you know, about like 50, 60 years ago, in the hospital, a doctor tried it out with his patient with mental health issues, and he basically did these phrases: I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. You could find it on YouTube, but I found that when you say it to yourself, into your eyes, right directly every day, if you could do this for 5 minutes, you will connect to your inner child. your inner child needs to know that, you know. And if the emotions come, let it come, let it flood out. And that's when you start to connect with your inner child more and more and more.
Something I used to really be frightened of when I was a child, when I was in school or I was in a new class or a new group, and everyone had to introduce themselves, just say, hi, I'm Hassan such and such. And that used to really scare me. And then that fear went on into high school, into college, into groups in work. And then this is very interesting how insidious the fear can be. All we had to do was say, "Oh, this is hi everyone, my name is Hassan." That's it. That's it. But the fear was so great because fear of stuttering in front of them and memories of being laughed at. So as you know, I have a young daughter, and a couple of weeks ago, I took her to this class, where they listen to music and then they just kind of meet other children. So at the start of the class, the parents and children were sitting in a circle, and the host of the meeting said, "Okay, we're going to go around, and every parent is going to introduce their child." Now the fear came back into me straight away. I said, "Okay, for all these years I had to introduce myself. Now I've got to say my daughter's name." And actually, I felt my eyes heat up with tears, and I thought, this pain has to come to an end, even if the stutter doesn't come to an end. The pain has to come to. I don't want to transfer the pain to my daughter, and I'm feeling the emotions right now. So they came to me eventually, and of course the fear is so deep that I couldn't get the word out. And I just said to the group, it's quite large. I said, I just want to tell everyone that I've had a stammer all my life, and introducing myself was my biggest fear in groups because I couldn't say my name, and I was always laughed at by other children. And I said, well, this fear is going to come to an end right now, and I'm going to introduce my daughter to the group. I started on her name. I had a block, but I said it, and everyone just started to applaud, and I felt a release actually, because what I'm saying is I separated the stutter from my fears of 40 years, and it felt very empowering. Don't know if you have any comments on that.
I think absolutely amazing. No, you have recognized that you've kind of worked in your mind and said that's it. And your daughter plays a big part. She's already playing a big part. And I know in the future, you have somebody like your daughter there, and you're thinking, no, that's it. But I think you've broken a piece of the puzzle. You've already started to detach it. So it's good to see that you've already recognizing and realizing that, no, I need to do this, and able to, introduce yourself in the group, even all that fear was coming towards you. Sometimes you have to, it's people say you have to go through darkness to get into the light. And that's what happens. You're going through a lot of darkness, and your daughter is the light, she's the light that will is helping you to overcome. And as you know, the fears is just in the head. It's a perception. It's what you perceive yourself. And no, and it's amazing how the group, everybody clapped, because they saw you in a different light, but you've just saw yourself in a different life before the introduction. So I would say to you is that the step you have taken is fantastic, and please, and do more of it. Take yourself further, get yourself out there, even if it's a bit kind of frightening. Just say, I'm doing this, and do more of it. Of getting yourself forward towards other people, or go out with your daughters and introduce your daughter even more and more, and with your family. It's all about doing it, and you've already took that step forward to do that. It's amazing to hear that you've already done that. It's great.
We're coming up to our 1 hour mark. I just want to ask Mukesh if he has any comments or questions for Aladin or Lily.
No, I enjoyed this session, and thank you, Adina, also, and thank you, Hassan. And I learned too much, many things I learning new from Adina. Also. Yeah. And nice talking, nice discussion. And also I'm in the office, so I am going to work back.
Okay.
And thank you. See you again. Thank you very much.
Okay, just let you know, just before I let Aladin go, I'd like her to share her method of meditation. I think that's quite important. If you don't mind, could you share how you meditate? Because
I can just so in short sentence I can share. In India, there is a Brahma Kumaris. They are doing some classes.
You do it here, Glasgow here.
Yeah, I go Brahma Kumaris classes for 1 week, and they are a combination with Hinduism spiritual. Like I am following Hinduism. And we are connected with God, and we are taking energy from God, and we are doing meditation in that way. So I don't know this is right or wrong, but I am doing that way. Brahma Kumaris, they are teach me, and I'm following that one.
I just wanted to say, Brahma Kumaris are here, and where I go Sunday, I go to there. I sit there and connect with the light. But I mean, it's they don't link to any. I mean, the only thing is they connect to the soul being, and they do classes here in where I am, 3 days a week, and I've been going to them for 3 or 4 years now, more than that. But yeah, they're different kind of meditations is the key. I do different kind, but it's obviously I would say to everybody out there as well, go with what resonates with you, what it feels right, follow your heart and soul, and that's the right meditation.
Okay, with that said, I think we can now bring it to a close. It's been very informative discussion with Aladin, and I really appreciate, on behalf of our group, etc. I'm very grateful that you gave us your time, and you shared your knowledge, experience with us. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Hassan, and thank you for the new guest coming on. It's amazing. I hope people do benefit from, and as I said, you have amazing guests coming on, and I'm sure people resonate with whoever they feel and understand. But yeah, I was a real pleasure to be on your podcast, and all the best, and I know you're changing people's lives, that people just listening, and they know they're not alone on the journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Okay, see you.